The grand hall of Queen Saralith's palace shimmered with energy. Crystal panels along the walls glowed softly, casting reflections that danced like stars. For the first time, the humans would face a challenge designed and commanded by Saralith herself. Unlike the arena, unlike any previous test, this was personal. The Queen intended to experience their power firsthand, and she wanted no mistakes. Captain Ethan and his team entered the hall, moving calmly, their weapons at the ready but relaxed in their grips. They had survived every challenge so far, and each one had strengthened their understanding of the alien strengths and weaknesses. They had learned to anticipate, adapt, and act as one. Saralith descended from her throne, her golden eyes fixed on them. Her presence was commanding, and the energy in the room shifted with her movements. "Humans," she said, her voice calm but edged with authority. "You have impressed me. Yet I must see your true strength. I will engage personally. Survive this and you will earn my full respect." Ethan nodded. "We are ready, Your Majesty. We understand that strength is not measured only in force, but in courage and unity." The Queen activated the simulation. Energy constructs appeared first, hundreds of them, each armed with deadly weapons and programmed to attack without mercy. The humans moved immediately, using the environment to their advantage. They dodged, blocked, and redirected attacks with precise timing, working as a unit to overcome the initial wave. Saralith's golden eyes glimmered with curiosity. She watched Ethan's tactics carefully, noting how he anticipated each move and how the humans adapted on the fly. It was different from the earlier challenges. Now she could see the full depth of their skill, their coordination, their patience, and their ability to remain calm under pressure. The second wave began, more dangerous and complex. Massive energy drones hovered above, firing beams that could pierce most alien armor. Elite constructs with glowing blades charged from multiple directions. The humans responded with ingenuity. Mira redirected beams using energy shields. Rojas led a small group to flank the larger constructs, and Ethan moved among them, coordinating every step. Saralith, finally intrigued, stepped forward, her presence alone shifting the simulation. The constructs responded with even greater intensity, reacting to her commands as if she were controlling the battlefield itself. She approached the humans directly, her energy blade activated and humming with deadly force. Ethan met her gaze calmly. "Your Majesty, we do not seek to challenge your authority. We only wish to show that courage, strategy, and unity can overcome even the greatest challenges." Saralith's first strike was fast, precise, and designed to overwhelm. Ethan sidestepped, rolling to the side and signaling Mira. The humans moved as one, using the environment to their advantage. Energy barriers, walls, and reflective surfaces allowed them to redirect attacks, confuse her strikes, and find openings in her technique. Each time she attacked, they adapted. Each time she forced them back, they recovered with skill and precision. It was not brute strength that allowed them to survive. It was observation, calculation, and trust in one another. Saralith began to realize that her assumptions about strength had been incomplete. These humans were not weak. They were resilient in ways she had never experienced. A massive construct charged at Ethan from behind, but Rojas intercepted it, using the construct's own momentum to redirect it into another. Mira disabled a drone with a clever energy pulse, and Ethan finally found an opening in Saralith's defense. He did not strike recklessly. Instead, he demonstrated restraint, showing that humans could neutralize threats without unnecessary violence. Saralith paused, impressed. You are unlike any opponent I have faced," she admitted. Her pride had not left her, but it was tempered now with respect. "Your strength is not in force. It is in courage, intelligence, and unity. You adapt where others fail. You survive where others would perish." Ethan lowered his weapon slightly. "We do not seek dominance, Your Majesty. We seek to endure, to protect, and to act as one. Strength is more than weapons or size. It is spirit, determination, and loyalty to each other." Saralith considered his words carefully. For centuries, she had believed that power was measured in armies, weapons, and fear. Humans had proven her assumptions wrong. Their strength lay in ways her species had never valued, in intelligence, in resilience, in unity, and in courage that never wavered. The simulation reached its climax. Saralith and her constructs advanced together, a seemingly unstoppable force. The humans were outnumbered, outgunned, and physically weaker, but they did not falter. They moved with precision, using misdirection, timing, and coordinated attacks to survive every strike. At one critical moment, an energy blade nearly struck Ethan, but Mira pushed him out of the way at the last second. Rojas created a diversion that allowed the humans to turn the situation in their favor. It was a perfect example of teamwork, trust, and adaptability, the qualities that defined humanity. Saralith realized that the humans were not merely surviving, they were teaching her, showing her a new definition of power. Her elite warriors, her advanced technology, even her own skill were not enough to overpower them because they had a strength that could not be measured in size or weaponry. Finally, the simulation ended. Ethan and his team stood calm and composed, while Saralith's constructs deactivated. The Queen herself lowered her energy blade, her golden eyes filled with a mixture of awe and respect. "You have survived, not through strength alone but through intelligence, courage and unity," she said. "I have underestimated your species. You are remarkable. Humans, you have my respect." Ethan stepped forward. "Thank you, Your Majesty. We only seek to show that courage and unity can overcome even the greatest challenges. Strength is not only physical, it is spirit, determination, and trust in one another." Saralith smiled faintly. It was not her usual cold, commanding smile. It was one of acknowledgement, the recognition that she had learned something important. "Perhaps there is a place for humanity among my empire," she said. "Perhaps we can be allies rather than opponents." The humans bowed slightly. "We welcome the opportunity to work together, Your Majesty," Ethan said. The chamber grew quiet, filled with a new understanding. Humans, whom Saralith had once mocked as fragile and weak, had demonstrated a power that could not be ignored. Their courage, intelligence, and teamwork had earned the respect of one of the galaxy's most formidable rulers. For the first time in her life, Saralith experienced humility, not weakness, but awareness that her pride had underestimated the humans. She realized that true power was not just strength or weapons, but the ability to endure, adapt, and unite in the face of impossible odds. The Queen extended her hand toward Ethan. "Humans, I have learned from you. Let this be the beginning of a new understanding. Together we can achieve far more than any of us could alone." Ethan shook her hand firmly. "Agreed, Your Majesty. Together we are stronger than the sum of our parts." The story closed with the humans and Saralith standing together. A new alliance formed. The alien queen, once proud and dismissive, now recognized humanity's unique strength. The galaxy had witnessed a shift. Humans were not fragile. They were powerful in ways that no one had fully understood until now. In that moment, Saralith smiled, no longer with pride alone, but with respect and awe. Humans had shown that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome any challenge, even the might of an alien queen. And so, a new chapter began, where humans were no longer underestimated, their power recognized and their spirit celebrated across the stars. Ethan's shuttle hummed quietly as it descended toward the strange emerald landscape below. The planet, designated Xylar 7, shimmered under the light of two suns. From the sky, the forests looked endless, with towering crystal-like trees and rivers that glowed faintly in blue. Ethan, a human explorer from Earth, had studied this planet for months through scans and satellite data, but nothing could prepare him for seeing it in person. As he stepped out onto the soft, glowing moss, a fresh breeze carried scents he could not recognize, sweet, floral, and earthy all at once. Birds, or at least creatures that looked like birds, fluttered above, their wings sparkling like prisms. Ethan could feel the planet's energy pulsing, almost like it was alive. He had come to study the planet's wildlife and take samples, but he never expected to meet its people so soon. As he walked through a clearing, a soft, melodic voice called out in a language he did not understand. He turned quickly to see a young alien woman standing nearby. She was striking. Her skin had a faint pearlescent glow, her eyes a deep shade, a violet, and her hair floated slightly as if caught in an invisible current. She wore a long, flowing garment made of iridescent fabric that shimmered in the sunlight. Her expression was curious, not fearful, and she held a small device that seemed to record him. "Hello," Ethan said slowly, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. The alien tilted her head and then spoke again. This time her device emitted a soft tone and a mechanical voice repeated, "Greetings, visitor." Ethan blinked in surprise. You speak English? He asked, laughing nervously. The alien smiled. I understand your language. My name is Lyra. Who are you? I'm Ethan. I'm an explorer from Earth. I came to study this planet. He extended his hand. Lyra hesitated, then touched his hand lightly in what seemed like a greeting. A strange warmth ran through him at the contact. Lyra motioned for him to follow. Ethan hesitated for a moment, unsure if he should, but curiosity got the better of him. He followed her through winding paths of glowing moss, past crystal streams and floating flowers. Birds with translucent wings fluttered around them, occasionally landing on branches or hovering near them. After some time, they reached a small village. The houses were built from materials that looked organic but strong, blending perfectly with the environment. Soft lights glowed inside, and alien figures moved gracefully between buildings. The villagers noticed Ethan immediately. Their expressions were a mix of curiosity and cautious welcome. Lyra led him to a larger building at the center of the village. Inside, a family waited. 2 older aliens, tall and elegant, and a few others who appeared to be relatives. Their eyes watched Ethan closely. They greeted him formally, bowing slightly in a way that showed respect. Ethan bowed back, feeling slightly out of place. Lyra's parents, whom she introduced as Mael and Soria, spoke to him through her device. We have heard of humans, Mael said. Your kind is brave and clever. We are honored you visit our home. Soria added, Lyra tells us you are kind and respectful. That pleases us. Ethan smiled awkwardly. Thank you. I hope to learn from your people and understand your world. Lyra's mother studied him closely. Your manners are different yet polite. This is rare. Ethan nodded. I try to respect others' customs wherever I go. Lyra beamed. He already understands something many do not, she whispered to her parents, but loud enough for Ethan to hear. The family invited him to sit and share a meal. The food was unlike anything Ethan had seen. Soft, glowing fruits, colorful pastes, and liquids that shimmered like liquid jewels. Despite the strangeness, it tasted delicious. Ethan found himself enjoying every bite while observing how gracefully the aliens ate, with care and mindfulness. Throughout the meal, Lyra's family asked questions about Earth, about humanity, and about Ethan's work. They seemed genuinely interested, nodding at his answers and occasionally exchanging glances that made Ethan feel both important and slightly nervous. After the meal, Lyra led Ethan to a balcony overlooking the village. The view was breathtaking. Below, the glowing village stretched like a living mosaic, and in the distance the forest sparkled under the twin suns. You must see the world beyond the village, Lyra said. There are places humans cannot imagine. Ethan laughed. I've seen some strange things on Earth, but this is something else. They talked for hours, sharing stories of their worlds. Ethan told her about Earth's oceans, mountains, and cities, while Lyra shared stories of the planet's unique seasons, the creatures, and the history of her people. Despite their differences, they found common ground: curiosity, wonder, and a love for exploration. As the suns began to set, Lyra's parents approached them. Ethan stood politely, unsure what they wanted. Miles spoke first. Ethan, your character, your courage, and your respect, they are rare. We are proud to have you in our home. Soria smiled, her violet eyes gentle. Lyra speaks highly of you. She says you are intelligent and kind. We hope you will consider staying longer. Ethan hesitated, unsure how to respond. I still have research to do. I cannot stay forever. Mael inclined his head. We do not ask forever. But humans of your nature, they are rare. We have a tradition. When one person of great respect meets our daughter, it is common to honor them in a ceremony. Ethan frowned slightly. A ceremony? Soria nodded. It is not binding, yet it is a sign of respect and approval. Lyra's family wishes it. Ethan's mind raced. He had expected curiosity, study, and perhaps diplomacy. He had not expected this. I'm honored, but I do not understand what it means exactly. Lyra stepped closer. It is a way to show you are valued. It is not a demand, but my family wants you to consider it. Ethan looked at her. She seemed nervous, though her smile was genuine. I need time to think. I respect your customs, but this is all very sudden. Mile and Soria nodded. We understand, Mile said. Take your time, but know this. Your presence here is meaningful. Our people, our traditions, they see you as someone special. Ethan nodded, feeling both honored and overwhelmed. He watched the village below as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of pink and purple. The glow of the forest reflected the colors, making everything appear magical. Lyra stood beside him quietly. I never expected a human to understand us so quickly, she said softly. You're different. Not like the others who just come and leave. Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth he had not expected. Maybe some humans can learn to understand. They stayed in silence for a few moments, enjoying the view. For Ethan, it was a moment of peace and wonder, yet also a moment of uncertainty. The family's expectation hung gently in the air, and he realized that his visit to Xylar 7 might change more than his research. It might change his life. That night, as he lay in the guest quarters, Ethan thought about the family, Lyra, and the strange feeling that this planet, its people, and this young alien woman had stirred in him. He had come to study a world, but he had found connection, respect, and the beginnings of something he did not yet understand. He knew that tomorrow, Lyra's family would continue their gentle pressure, inviting him to join them, to understand their traditions more, and perhaps to take part in something far larger than exploration. Ethan closed his eyes, unsure what the future held, but certain of one thing. Life on Xylar 7 was nothing like life on Earth, and meeting Lyra was just the beginning of an adventure that would test his courage, his heart, and his understanding of what it truly meant to be respected and perhaps loved by an entirely new world. The next morning, Ethan awoke to a soft, shimmering light that filtered through the walls of his guest quarters. The glow was not from the suns outside, but from the building itself, made of materials that pulsed gently with energy. He sat up, rubbing his eyes, still feeling the wonder of the previous day. A gentle knock came at the door. Before he could answer, it opened, and Lyra stepped inside, her expression both shy and playful. Good morning, she said. Your first night on Xylar 7, did you sleep well? Ethan smiled. Better than I expected. This place, it's peaceful in a way I've never felt on Earth. Lyra laughed softly. Our world has its quiet moments, but I think your mind is full of questions, isn't it? Ethan nodded. I'm still trying to understand everything, the plants, the animals, your customs, and your family. He paused, lowering his voice slightly. I didn't expect them to. Hint about marriage so soon? Lyra's violet eyes widened and she bit her lower lip. It is soon, yes. But for my family, tradition matters. They honor those they find worthy, and they think you are worthy. Ethan frowned, feeling the weight of her words. I respect them. I truly do. But I didn't come here to be pressured. I came to learn, to explore. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, comforting yet firm. I understand. But you must also understand my family. Refusing outright is complicated. It could offend them. Before Ethan could respond, they were interrupted by another knock. This time, Male and Soria entered, accompanied by two other family members. Good morning, Ethan, Miles said warmly. We hope you slept well. Ethan stood politely. Thank you. I slept very well. This place is remarkable, Soria smiled. We are glad. Today we have prepared something for you. A chance to see more of our village, our people, and our way of life. It is also part of our tradition, to share our world with those we honor. Ethan nodded. I would like that. The family led him outside where a group of villagers waited. Children waved shyly, and adults observed him with careful curiosity. Ethan noticed the way Lyra moved beside him, guiding him with gentle gestures. She seemed both proud and cautious, aware of her family's hopes but sensitive to his feelings. The first part of the day was a tour of the village's central gardens, where bioluminescent plants grew in intricate patterns. Ethan marveled at their colors and textures, taking notes and photographs. Lyra explained the plants' functions, not just for food but for medicine, building materials, and even energy sources. As they walked, Mael spoke. Our traditions are old. Respect, courage, and understanding are important. When we honor someone, we hope they will see the value of our ways. Ethan listened carefully, aware that every word carried weight. I do see it. Your customs are thoughtful and they show care for your people. Soria nodded. Good. That is why we want you to understand more than just the surface. You must experience life here to be truly accepted. By midday, the family led Ethan to a large open arena at the edge of the village. He had no idea what to expect. There, several villagers demonstrated skills and tasks that were central to their daily life. They climbed crystalline trees, navigated narrow bridges over glowing streams, and displayed problem-solving with teamwork. Ethan was impressed. This is amazing, he said aloud. I've never seen anything like it, Lyra smiled. It is part of what we value. Strength, intelligence, and cooperation. We hope you understand that being honored by my family is not just about ceremony. It is about learning and proving oneself. Ethan's mind raced. He had expected cultural tours, not tests of skill. He glanced at Lyra, whose eyes met his with a mix of encouragement and mischief. Are you ready? She asked softly. Ethan took a deep breath. I'll try my best. The first challenge was a climb up a tall crystalline tree. Ethan's human strength helped, but the branches were delicate and glowing, making every step a careful calculation. Villagers watched quietly, and Lyra's family nodded approvingly as he reached the top. The second trial was solving a complex puzzle involving the flow of energy through crystals. Ethan used logic and patience, adjusting each piece until the puzzle lit up in harmony. A cheer went up from the villagers, and Ethan felt a mixture of pride and relief. Afterward, they were led to a communal building where a meal awaited. This time, the food was more elaborate, and the conversation turned personal. Ethan shared stories about his childhood, his dreams of exploring space, and the reasons he became an explorer. Lyra listened intently, occasionally translating his words into her culture's metaphors for her parents. You have courage and intelligence, Miles said after Ethan finished. These are qualities we admire, but more important is your respect for our ways. You do not dismiss them. That pleases us greatly. Ethan nodded. I respect what I do not fully understand yet. I believe understanding comes with patience. Soria smiled warmly. Then you may yet become part of our lives, not just as a guest but as someone who honors our traditions. Ethan realized the subtle pressure in her words. They were not forcing him, but they were showing him a path, one that would lead to a bond with Lyra if he chose it. The thought made him uneasy, yet curious. After the meal, Lyra took Ethan on a walk outside the village. The twin suns were lowering, casting long shadows across the glowing forest. Your family would not do this to me, Ethan said, thinking of Earth's customs. They wouldn't pressure someone into a relationship like this. Lyra shook her head gently. Our world is different. Family and community come first. To refuse without understanding is considered disrespectful. Ethan sighed. I want to respect your ways. I truly do. But I also don't want to disappoint you or myself. Lyra smiled softly. You won't, just be yourself. That is all anyone can ask. The next days were filled with more lessons. Ethan learned to communicate better using devices and gestures, understanding not just words but emotions conveyed through subtle movements. He helped the villagers with daily tasks, from tending to the glowing crops to repairing structures made of flexible crystal. Through it all, Lyra remained by his side. She guided him, laughed at his mistakes, and shared quiet moments where they simply watched the twin suns rise and set. Slowly, Ethan began to see her not just as a guide or a subject of curiosity, but as someone he genuinely enjoyed being with. But the family's presence was never far. Each evening, Mael and Soria would sit with him, discussing customs, expectations, and the honor of joining their family. They never forced him, but their words were careful and persuasive. One evening, Soria said, Ethan, in our tradition, those who are chosen by the family are given an opportunity to prove themselves through understanding, courage, and care. You have done well, but there is more to learn. Ethan nodded, feeling both the pressure and the trust. I understand. I want to learn. I want to respect your ways. Mael added, Good. Your willingness to learn shows character. That is more valuable than any skill or test. Ethan realized that this journey was no longer just about exploration. It was about connection, respect, and the delicate balance of choosing one's own path while honoring another culture's traditions. Late that night, as he prepared for sleep, Ethan thought about the family's expectations and his growing feelings for Lyra. He had never imagined that his first mission to Xylar 7 would involve not only scientific discovery but also navigating the complexities of alien traditions and relationships. He knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new lessons, and perhaps new realizations about what it truly meant to be honored by this remarkable family, and how much his life could change if he chose to embrace their world fully. As he drifted off to sleep, Ethan felt a mixture of excitement, uncertainty, and a strange sense of belonging. He had entered their world as a visitor, but already he sensed that his journey was about to become far more personal and far more important than he could have ever imagined. The grand palace of Queen Seralith was silent in the aftermath of the arena challenge. The alien soldiers, though disciplined, whispered among themselves, astonished that the humans had not only survived but had shown strategy and courage beyond what any alien could have imagined. Seralith sat alone in her private chamber, her mind racing. She had always prided herself on understanding war, on predicting outcomes, and on controlling every element in her empire. Yet the humans had confounded her expectations. They were small, their weapons rudimentary, and yet they had moved in ways that no alien warrior could anticipate. Her pride demanded disdain, yet her curiosity refused to be silenced. Seralith summoned her advisors. "Study these humans," she commanded, her voice calm but firm. "Learn everything about them, how they fight, how they survive, what makes them endure. I want knowledge, not just entertainment." The advisors bowed, leaving immediately to gather intelligence. They returned with records of human history, wars on harsh planets, survival through famine and disaster, and battles against far larger and stronger opponents. Humans, it seemed, had a unique way of thriving in environments that would destroy most alien species. Seralith's thoughts were interrupted by a soft chime. Ethan and his team had requested a private meeting. She considered refusing, but curiosity won. The humans entered the chamber, cautious but composed. "Queen Seralith," Ethan began, bowing respectfully, "we do not wish to challenge your authority or test your patience. We only wish to offer dialogue and understanding." Seralith regarded him quietly. "Dialogue," she repeated. "Interesting. You have survived my arena, yet you speak of understanding rather than victory. Why?" Ethan's gaze was steady. "Because true strength is not in winning battles alone, Your Majesty. It is in learning, adapting, and protecting those who cannot defend themselves. That is how humans have endured. That is how we survive." Seralith's golden eyes narrowed thoughtfully. She had never heard such words from a species she had considered weak and insignificant. She decided to test them further, but not with open combat. She wanted to understand them. "Very well," she said finally. "Show me, teach my soldiers something new. Show them how your species survives challenges that seem impossible." Ethan nodded. "We will, Your Majesty. But you must allow us freedom to act. We cannot teach strategy if we are constantly constrained by orders or limitations." Seralith paused, weighing her pride against curiosity. Finally, she agreed. "You may proceed, but I will observe." The humans began training sessions with Seralith's elite soldiers. They demonstrated unconventional tactics, using terrain and obstacles cleverly, feints and misdirection, and timing strikes to exploit even minor weaknesses. To the alien soldiers, it was a revelation. Their strength alone had never been challenged in this way. One session involved a complex obstacle course filled with moving energy barriers and traps. Humans navigated it with careful observation, swift movement, and coordinated teamwork. They would pause to signal each other, move in tandem, and create opportunities that the aliens had never considered. Seralith watched from above, fascinated. Her soldiers attempted to follow, but even the most skilled among them struggled to adapt. The humans' ingenuity and calm under pressure were unlike anything she had seen. "Captain Ethan," she said finally, her voice carrying through the chamber, "your species is remarkable. I do not fully understand it. How can such fragile creatures survive in the harshest conditions of the galaxy?" Ethan smiled faintly. "It is not about being strong, Your Majesty. It is about learning to use what we have, relying on each other and never giving up no matter the odds. Strength is not only in muscles or weapons. It is in the mind and the spirit." Saralith considered his words. For centuries, she had believed that power was measured in size, weaponry, and armies. Humans had shown her that these measures were incomplete. Their strength was in their unpredictability, in their unity, and in their courage. Days passed, and Saralith continued to observe them. She noticed how humans adapted to every challenge she or her advisors created. When confronted with energy traps, they calculated timing perfectly. When facing larger opponents, they used strategy rather than force. When teamwork was required, they acted in perfect coordination. One evening, she decided to test them herself. She activated a war simulation in the palace chamber. Energy constructs formed warriors, drones, and obstacles, all designed to push the humans to their limits. Ethan and his team were ready, as always, moving calmly into the simulation. The simulation began. Saralith watched closely, analyzing each move. Humans dodged, countered, and adapted with astonishing speed. They anticipated the construct's movements and used the environment creatively, turning potential traps into advantages. Saralith felt something she had not felt in centuries: awe. These humans, whom she had initially mocked, were proving qualities that even her most elite soldiers lacked. It was not raw power, it was intelligence, adaptability, and courage. At one point, a massive energy drone charged directly at Ethan. He did not panic. Instead, he signaled Mira, who used a small barrier to redirect the drone into a construct behind it. The drone malfunctioned temporarily, and Ethan moved in to disable the next threat. Every action was calculated, every movement precise. Saralith's advisors whispered among themselves, "This is unprecedented. The humans are teaching us something new. They are strong in ways we never imagined." "They are humans," Saralith said quietly. "Perhaps I underestimated them. Perhaps their strength is different from ours." The simulation ended, and the humans emerged unscathed, calm and composed as always. Saralith approached them directly for the first time. "Captain Ethan," she said, her voice serious, "your species has survived, adapted, and impressed in ways I did not think possible. I have observed you and your team for days, and yet I see there is more. I wish to understand fully. Show me how humans endure and triumph where others fail." Ethan bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, we will share what we can. But human strength is not something that can be fully taught. It is something experienced. You must see it for yourself in action." Saralith considered this. Pride and curiosity warred within her. She had never allowed herself to be challenged so directly. Yet the humans' calm confidence, their skill, and their courage demanded acknowledgement. She realized that to truly understand them, she would need to experience their strength firsthand. "I will arrange it," she said finally. "A personal test, not to humiliate but to observe. You will face challenges I design. Your skill will determine how far you can go." Ethan nodded. "We are ready." In the days that followed, Saralith prepared an advanced series of tests, challenges designed to test every aspect of human ability: endurance, intelligence, teamwork, and courage. The humans approached each task without fear, analyzing, adapting, and learning. Even when the challenges seemed impossible, they found ways to survive and overcome. Saralith's pride began to shift into something new: respect. She watched as Ethan and his team demonstrated qualities that no alien warrior had ever shown: patience under pressure, ingenuity in the face of danger, and unwavering unity even when threatened by superior force. For the first time, she understood a fundamental truth. Humans were not strong in the way her species measured strength. Their power lay in their mind, their spirit, and their unbreakable will. They could survive impossible odds because they never gave up, and because they relied on each other in ways that made them more than the sum of their parts. By the end of the third day, Saralith called a council meeting. Her advisors were prepared for their usual reports of human failure, but they were surprised when the Queen spoke differently. "Humans are unlike any species I have encountered," she said. "They survive where others fail. They adapt where others crumble. Their strength is not in their weapons or size, but in their unity and courage. We must reconsider our approach. Perhaps we have misjudged them." The advisors exchanged glances. Some were hesitant, but the evidence was undeniable. The humans had survived every challenge, learned from every test, and adapted faster than any alien warrior could. Ethan watched from a distance, sensing the shift in Saralith. The Queen who had mocked them was now questioning her assumptions, recognizing the unique strengths of humanity. The part ended with a new understanding forming between the humans and Seralith. She had begun to respect them, and in that respect lay the seed of a powerful alliance, or perhaps a recognition that humanity was not to be underestimated in any way. The next phase, Seralith realized, would not be about testing humans' survival alone. It would be about experiencing their power firsthand, and learning that even a queen could be surprised.